Hi everyone, my name's Savannah and I have two gorgeous pet rats. This here is Orinoco. He's a little bit more curious, and then I've got a very sleepy Bungo at the moment just hiding up in the enclosure, and I wanted to come on here today to talk about these wonderful creatures. I am a first time pet rat owner, so I'll be brutally honest, I am not fully experienced. I don't know the ins and outs, but I can give you my experience so far on rats and kind of tell you a little bit about what I was expecting and what I actually wasn't expecting, and kind of took me by surprise. So the first thing I want to speak about is their enclosure and setting it up. So when I adopted my two pet rats, I got the enclosure on the same day. And although this had pros, it was very exciting. It was also probably a bit more stressful than it could have been. I went with some friends and they were really supportive. But because we had to get the enclosure in the car, along with the rats, we had to make sure we could pack it all in the car at the same time. And for anyone who is new to having rats, it will surprise you how big the enclosure actually needs to be. So with a rat enclosure, it needs to be a super large size. My cage can actually fit 4 rats on the recommendation basis, but normally that actually means 2. So even for myself, for a startup cage, I could probably get a larger one in the future. Right now, I'm quite happy with the size, but yeah, bigger is always better for rat cages. This is Orinoco. He's my most curious rat by far. He does like to wander around and explore, run around the floor, whereas Bungo, my other rat, is very kind of cozy and cuddly, does like to explore but is much slower paced and will just kind of curl up in your lap. So there is a big difference in rat personalities, which I guess is the same with any animal, but I wasn't expecting it as much when it came to 2 rats that I was adopting at the same time. I really thought they were going to have similar personalities. So that's just something to keep in mind. In terms of the enclosure, hammocks are such a big one. I know that a lot of rat owners had mentioned hammocks to me, but I didn't quite realise how important they were. Orinoco is wanting to explore quite a lot right now, so I'm just going to pop him back. So he's with Bungo, but Orinoco is going to say goodbye to you guys. I'm going to just pop him back in his enclosure. I've just popped Orinoco back in the enclosure. I don't know if you can see, but right down there in the house is a tail of Bungo as well. So with the backstory of my rats, Orinoco and Bungo were adopted. Unfortunately, no one wanted to purchase them because they had kind of reached their sell-by date in the sense of age. Rats don't live for very long, and Bungo and Orinoco were already 6 months old, which is actually quite old for a rat. They have matured at this point, and normally people want to get a rat when they're 6 to 12 weeks old. So as you can imagine, these guys didn't have great chances when it came to being purchased. Along with that, not only had they reached the 6-month-old mark, but they had respiratory issues. And although this is very common in rats, a lot of rat owners don't want to get rats already with respiratory issues if they are purchasing rats in the first place. But I was committed to kind of giving them a chance, seeing what I could do. With this in mind, I had to think about signing up to a vet ASAP, which you should do anyway. But yeah, vet visits are on the horizon, unfortunately, with these guys. But I just want to give them the best quality of life that I can. And that might mean, you know, different focuses from bedding. At the moment, that checkered blanket on my radiator is not for me. That is a fleece rat blanket, which I've already had to put in the wash. Which has actually been great for bonding as well with the rats. I've been laying out blankets that are sent on, letting them relax on my lap. But they're also great in the enclosure because certain bedding isn't great for rats with respiratory issues. I'll make another video on that. If it means that I can help other people in the same position, then I'd love to do that. So one of the best ways that I found has helped with bonding with my rats is food. Rats are very food orientated in most cases, and they have been loving the baby food. I've been putting baby food on my finger, and then they've been eating from my finger, which has been really sweet. I have, of course, had to get all the basics like rat nuggets, different seed mixes, etc. But in terms of actually bonding, bringing them out the enclosure, baby food has worked a treat, along with some raspberries and some green beans. They've really been liking green beans, pepper and cucumber. On the first day, I was advised not to handle them too much. I just let them settle into their enclosure. But then 2 to 3 days in, I was putting my hand in quite a lot, letting them kind of go onto my hand. And then that's when I decided to pick them up, I think on the third day. They had quite different reactions. Bungo squealed a little bit, but kind of when he was in my arms, he relaxed and I could see he was quite content exploring. It was just that first shock of being lifted out. And then Orinoco now just loves being picked up. He'll just jump at you and he won't squeal at all. Whereas Bungo's still getting used to it because it's early days. It is still the first week, but I am seeing a massive difference. I'll attach some videos here of kind of their progress, showing them roam around. So now this comes down to one of my biggest shocks of having rats. I was fully in the know about respiratory issues and kind of what comes with that in terms of health. I knew that I had to be careful with bedding and aerosol sprays and wax candles, things like that. But what I didn't expect is first home sneezes. This was so cute, but it did make me panic when they were constantly sneezing for the first few days. I kind of was like, what's wrong with my rats? At the moment, Bungo is kind of going and that was really freaking me out, but apparently that's part of first home sneezes. I freaked out so much I ended up getting an air purifier in the home, which has actually massively helped with the sneezes and their health as well though. So if you are considering getting rats, look into a good air purifier that has a HEPA filter and carbon. First home sneezes are a thing, along with hiccups, which are also quite creepy. Anyway guys, I don't want this video to be too long. I just wanted to kind of introduce my rats, show you a few videos and pictures and share a basic summary of my week with them. If you're interested, subscribe because I am going to be sharing lots of rat content here now. This is just the first week, but I really am excited to see what progress I make with these guys. They are incredible and they already feel like really close friends of mine. So yeah, follow along for the journey and I'll see you guys later.